A big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video.
Hello! Welcome back to my channel. If you do not know who I am, my name is Paloma, or Palomathepeach, and I am a full-time artist, and I've done one clay pin video before, but I am here to show you guys kind of an updated process and also like a relearning for me because I haven't made clay pins in a very long time, and my techniques and art style have definitely changed a lot. So I am gonna be going through the process with you guys, and I hope you enjoy watching me make all the fun stuff. Now we can get into the supplies.
Alrighty, so let's start making these clay pins. Firstly, something that you need to do with polymer clay is knead it really well, get in there, get it nice and soft, and once you've done that, you can start like flattening out your clay for it to be cut into shapes. And I'm personally using two things to cut shapes. I got this little cookie cutter set, shape cutter sort of thing, off of Amazon, and I got this because it's a really nice way to get a start on basic shapes. And then I'm also going to be using an X-Acto knife for those shapes that are just too strange for these little cookie cutters. And yeah, I'm just gonna cut out as much shapes as I'm feeling out of all this clay, and then we'll be ready to bake. So actually, before we bake, we gotta soften up any edges and repair any dents that we don't want in our final product. So something about polymer clay is exactly how you see it in its raw state is how it's gonna be in its baked state. So you want to make sure to get out any bumps, any creases, any lines, dents, etc. that you don't want in your final product. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm essentially just like smoothing over the edges, not wanting them as sharp. I'm going over any holes, smoothing down some clay that's sticking out. So yeah, just make sure you get your clay into the exact state that you want it before you bake. When you're ready to bake, just make sure to preheat your oven to 275 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're going to want to do about 15 minutes per 1/4 inch of clay, as it says on the box. I personally do 13 minutes just to be safe because I have burned my polymer clay stuff before and it is not fun. And then I just like to lay down a parchment paper just to not damage my baking sheet or anything like that. next is the juicy, thick part of clay pin making, and we gotta paint these bad boys. It's the part that takes the most time, and now that they're baked and out of the oven, I am gonna be sketching my designs on with a pencil just because I'd rather be safe than sorry, even though it's paint and I can just paint over it. I don't know, I just want to like have my design set before I start painting, and because I'm going to be using acrylic gouache, it's just going to cover up the pencil anyway. Also, side note, when you are baking, make sure that you have all your pins nice and flat, because I had this one moth that was completely bent and was not usable as a pin, which is not fun, and then you cannot fix it because the clay is now hard. So yeah, be careful. As for painting your clay, it's pretty simple. I personally, like I've said several times, have to use acrylic gouache. Do not use regular gouache because it will be reactivated by more paint or water. So use acrylic gouache. I typically do 2 to 3 coats of each color depending on how transparent the color itself is. And that's it. You should be good to go because it's acrylic. Once it dries down, it will not budge. Okay, so we have made it to day 3 of making these clay pins, and I'm almost done with painting. I have all this going on. I finished all the figs because they were really fun to make. I love the little perspective of them. My favorites have to be the moths so far, but I have a few to finish up. This cat is almost done, and then I have like these shape ones to finish. Whoops. And then after painting, I'm gonna glue the little actual like pin backings to them, and I have 2 different types, which are gonna be for different like shapes, because for the longer ones I have like a longer pin backing. But yeah, I also have my tester, and I put a little bit of paint on it just to test how the coating does with it. And I'm gonna coat my tester today, but I'm not gonna coat my other ones until Sunday, and we'll see how this polyurethane coating does with polymer clay. I mean, I know a lot of people use it, but I just want to test it out because I really like these guys and I don't want to mess them up. This is the quickest step when it comes to making clay pins. It's just gluing on the pin backings to get them secure, turn them into actual pins. And it's super simple. I personally use the E600 jewelry and bead glue because it comes with the little precision tips. So yeah, you want to make sure to use the precision tip just because it's less messy and you get a very small amount of glue. For these guys, you really only need a very tiny dot. And then I'm just pressing it onto the pin, and I let them cure for about 2 days, as the package says. Welcome to the last day of making pins, finally. Let's do a quick little check-in on our tester dude. Coating is looking great, nice and shiny. Some of the running smudging that I found of the color is essentially gone, so the coating dried pretty clear. And now I have all these guys. I have not finished like 3 of them, but I think I'm just gonna do those later because I want to coat these. And so this is kind of the way that I'm gonna do it. I got this cork board from Daiso, and I just stabbed them all in here, and I'm gonna, when they're flat, they're all like not touching the cork board. But yeah, when they're flat, they're not going to be touching, and I'm going to coat them all pretty quickly because I don't want to risk any smudging. And this way, I can have them flat, they won't touch the cork board, so the coating won't get messed up, and I can just leave them to dry, and I know they're safe. So this is kind of like the idea that I came up with for coating, because I feel like coating is the most intimidating and the scariest part of making clay stuff. So let's get into it. How my little guys look with one coat, and now it's time to learn how to make backing cards. Okay, so I personally have an iPad to draw digitally, and I use Procreate. And what you're going to want to do is when you pick a new canvas, you're going to want to pick your size of backing card. I personally like 2 by 3 inches, so I just made it 2 by 3 inches. And then I am going to design my little backing card. You can make whatever design you want. This is probably my favorite part of clay pin making. I don't know why. I just love that I can make my backing card whatever I want, and it makes the clay pins just feel like so much more of a complete product. So just making my fun little design. And then after that, just make sure you save it. Save it as just a regular old JPEG. You're going to open up another Procreate canvas, and this one you're going to open up at the size of a regular piece of paper, US letter, which is 8.5 by 11. And then you're going to orient your backing card, kind of guesstimate. I know there's an inches thing here on Procreate, but I personally have done this so many times that I can kind of get a handle on it. So you're just going to want to mess around with the sizing and resizing. So personally, my backing card is 2 by 3, so it's 3 inches tall. And if the piece of paper is 11 inches tall, I can fit about 3 backing cards into that piece of paper, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm fitting in there.
And that is how I made my clay pins. I am very much in love with them. I feel like they're very me. I love how colorful they are. I'm really happy with the backing cards. I hope this video was helpful. If you are interested in getting some of the clay pins that I made, they are going to be in my shop update sometime in May. I recommend following my Instagram to keep up with updates on the shop and products and when these will go live exactly. So yeah, again, I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. So before closing out today's video, I wanted to thank the sponsor, which is Squarespace. If you don't know what Squarespace is, it's an online platform where you can create your very own website, and they have a ton of new features on there. So they have comment threads, so you can build a community on your website. They have social media integration to lead people from your website to social media. And now they have gated members only content that you can offer to people on your website. If you're interested in a free trial, you can go to squarespace.com and you can use my code for 10% off your first purchase.